All right, we're here Monday morning. Well, not Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Feels like a morning. How's everybody doing? I know we all had big weekends, food and drink wise. Not really doing much though. We're still in a lockdown. And how was your weekend?
Yeah, I'll start us off here, boys. My weekend was amazing. Watched a great Super Bowl. Watched the Leafs absolutely destroy Saturday night. Yeah, I'm pumped talk about the Super Bowl. Tom Brady gets his seventh ring. No shocker there. I was wrong, and I think Josh was wrong too, and Brandon
Yeah.
was right. So Brandon, will give you your props here. And how was your weekend?
That was good. The Leafs game was a good start, I guess, when you think about it. But the Super Bowl was, I guess, the most anticipated for sure. And then you get there and you get the result. At least I was hoping that Tom Brady won, which they did, but the game wasn't really competitive, which we'll get into, which was hard to watch and think about. Well, okay, Josh thinks it was hard to watch. I think it was a different story. But in terms of the overall weekend, it was pretty relaxed. It's getting really, really cold up here. Whoever we are, I mean, we're in Canada. Everyone else probably is too, but not much to do. Hopefully, we get some general lockdown barriers raised soon.
Okay, so
that got really depressing really fast.
Yeah, back to the Super Bowl.
But hang on. I got a question first. Did you guys get wings last night?
Yeah.
When did you order your wings?
The place I ordered at opened at 11, and I called at 11:15.
Right. Did you get wings, Brandon?
No, I got nachos.
Right. So I ordered my wings on the Thursday. When I got there, I still had to wait 45 minutes for my wings to be ready. So it was bad for us, but good for these little businesses that were able to have a big day. So let's get to the actual game here. Matt, I feel like you got a lot to say about it. So why don't you start us off?
Well, just going off your vibes, I heard in the group chat that you actually didn't like the game, which I like the game. I think if Tampa was going to win, it was going to play like this. Obviously, we didn't see Mahomes having this bad of a game through just over 200 yards, I think. No touchdowns, which I think is shocking. Someone's probably really rich if they made that bet. But, yeah, Mahomes, he didn't really look comfortable in the pocket. You could tell that turf toe was affecting him. Both of his tackles were out. So their whole offense is kind of out of motion. But give credit to Tampa Bay. Devin White, they have some dogs on their defense. As soon as Kelsey and Tyreek Hill were running, they double-teamed them on every play. So you needed Allaire or Hartman just to kind of pound one home. They never really did. And you're not going to beat Tom Brady with 3 field goals. So I just kind of look at the whole game in perspective as Tom Brady did what he needed to do. They didn't throw the ball for 30-yard dimes. They had time possession. They ran the ball. They played effectively. And they just gave it to the backs. Fournette and Jones, they went off. And it was actually a pretty game if you're kind of a football nerd. But you guys, I would say, are more there for the hype and the highlights. So what did you think about the game, Josh?
My issue with this was, like I always say, sports, you're supposed to be entertained, and they were hyping this game up as like the game of the year, the best Super Bowl ever, and it just didn't deliver for me, right? Like, I don't know. I guess I was expecting kind of a shootout where each quarterback throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns, and it comes down to the final 2 minutes. We got a 2-minute drill where one of the QBs just storms down the field and wins the game, and that didn't happen. Like, this game, in my opinion, was over halfway through the third quarter. And like by then you're just kind of losing interest, and you just start thinking like, oh, well, what's going to happen next year now with these teams? And that's not what you want in what is the biggest game of the year. And I just thinking back about my interest level in the first half was still really good, and then at the start of the third quarter, like, Mahomes has come back for some really big deficits to win a game. Like, I believe it was last year, the year before, he was down by 24 and they won by 20. So I was like, he's not out of it yet. But I mean, that Bucks team looked really good, and I don't think in any scenario were they losing that game last night. And you got to give it to Tom Brady, right? Like, he wins his 7th ring, his 5th MVP, and yeah.
So let me ask you a question, I guess, both of you. What do you guys think about all the attention drawn towards what people say favorable calls for Tampa last night?
People need to fuck off with that shit. I just kind of look at it as like a pass interference is pass interference. And I just kind of think, I know it sounds bad, but the Chiefs were lazy in all phases of the game. Like, their penalties weren't just on their defense. Like, their offense took some penalties, special teams, especially. And it's like, you're playing Tom Brady. They're obviously going to get some calls, but I just kind of look at it as you have Mike Evans, you have Antonio Brown, you have Chris Godwin, all these receivers. Like, it's not like the refs aren't looking at them. Everyone knows where the ball is going. So every holding, they're going to catch. And also, I just kind of want to give it to Tampa's O-line. Like, I don't know how many penalties that center, I think is Jensen or something, he drew, but like they were chirping, they were going at each other. A few of the flags, the Chiefs defensive end Jones was actually throwing punches. So I know some people were complaining about pass interference and stuff like that, but like the calls have been consistent all year. And I just feel like every big football game, you saw it with the Saints last year, and this year they're always throwing flags. So I don't know why people would expect anything different.
I thought it was I didn't notice anything with the penalties. Like whenever I saw it, I go, yeah, that's a penalty. Like maybe there were a couple of soft ones, but you still had grounds for a call to be made. We've seen worse officiating games. I didn't think the officiating was the problem whatsoever. Like the Chiefs were undisciplined.
That's a really good way of describing it, is that we've seen worse, even non Super Bowl games, like conference and divisional rounds, way worse officiating. And my opinions on the flags was that they were all well deserved, I guess, regardless of it. In the NFL and when I watched NBA, it's really easy to see a foul in the NBA because the other player exaggerates it. They almost both exaggerate, but the NFL, it's too serious, and in the moment, for any exaggeration, you kind of look stupid if you're looking to like look for a call. So in terms of the officiating, I give them a thumbs up. And we also had the first female officiate of all time. What did you guys think about that?
I mean, if you can do the job, do the job. I don't care, like it's good they got that representation in there, but I don't really think we should, I don't know why people are viewing an official through their gender. Like, I don't go, when I go to Sobeys, it's not like, oh, I got a female cashier. It's like, okay, she's doing her job, right? Like, it's good they got that representation, but I don't think I don't think it should be overshadowed that she was female. You know what I mean? It just seems like a weird kind of like, I don't know how to word it. It's like an odd celebration because she's obviously good enough to be there. So good for her, right? Like,
yeah, she was good enough to be here. And I just kind of think it's such a lazy argument for fans who might not get calls just to be like, oh, it's a girl official. Like I saw that on like stupid misogynist comments, but like I don't really care if it's a guy, girl, non-binary, whatever your gender, your sexual, it doesn't matter. But like just to go back on these penalties, I think a lot of people need to understand is like football is kind of sad, but it's kind of turning into basketball. Like James Harden played the foul, and you kind of saw Mike Evans on that one route. Like he obviously couldn't get the ball, and I think he was touched a little, and he just dove and he
was that the one where he was tripped?
Yeah, the one where he's kind of tripped in the back. And like a lot of people are saying, even if that didn't happen, he's not catching the ball. Why are you throwing that flag? But like, I just think receivers are getting so good. You tell the 6'5" guy who can catch with one hand that he wasn't going to catch that football.
Exactly.
Like, not call it. So like, I don't want to talk about the refs too much because like I think like there's just more topics to talk about the game, like Brady getting the seventh ring.
Before we move on, let me mention her name. It was kind of probably rude of us not to, but Sarah Thomas was the first official there in the Super Bowl. So we can give that some more context now. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Good job on Sarah. I think the kicker in Vanderbilt, his name's also Sarah too. So
that was Sarah Fuller. I thought it was I saw that. I was like, wow, Sarah's really having a good year. I was like, wait, is it the same person?
Daughter Sarah, and they're gonna do a lot of good stuff in sports. But yeah, the ref was fine. I just think the story of the game was Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, the game plan they had, and Patrick Mahomes looked bad. Like I just think we should just kind of talk about that. Like if you went in not knowing anything about the quarterbacks, you would not guess that he's the next Golden Boy or the best quarterback in the next 20 years.
Yeah. I'll go first here because I was talking to Josh earlier about this today on Call of Duty, but we were just rambling about sports, and then careful with the hand motions, Josh. But I was mentioning how it almost looked last night that I'm not a huge Chiefs fan or football fan in general, but if the Chiefs got to the Super Bowl back-to-back years, you would imagine that they'd have good fundamental offensive and defensive lines, especially the ones in front of Patrick Mahomes. But it seemed like last night every other play was a scramble for Patrick Mahomes, and I've seen saw a lot of holes in their defense. Well, I guess it was their offensive line, but mentioned the aggressiveness of Tampa Bay's defense. I've probably never seen. I was talking as well to Josh that I've never seen more aggressively played in terms of a defense from the Buccaneers. So I feel bad for Mahomes because you saw the thing, he was flying around around the whole field with turf toe, 2 weeks off a concussion, and they lost by a landslide, and he was kind of putting it all out here.
How bad is turf toe? How much was that hurt?
It's pretty bad. I actually played football 1 year in high school, and I didn't get it, but I saw one of my teammates get it, and like it was disgusting. I don't want to go too graphic, but like his toes were literally like they were green, they're like intertwined. So it's literally just
Okay.
It's stupid, but it's literally just you getting it caught on the turf. And like I assume the NFL grass and field's better than the one I was playing on, but like yeah, it's a pretty serious injury, I would say. Like it's kind of like a hockey player blocking a shot off the skate. Like you figure it would protect you, but it just doesn't. So like,
well, I don't, because they said turf toe, and I just kind of imagined it like a sprained toe. I'm like, well, you should be fine. Like people have played through worse, but I didn't really know what turf toe was. So yeah, he was scrambling quite a bit just to back it. Yeah.
This is kind of a general question, but in terms of your Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, you mentioned there, Matt. I wanted to have probably your opinion, and Josh, if he caught it as well. But I was talking with my parents, I guess, but they're not really educated too much on the strategy of the NFL. But my dad was like, "Do you think?" He asked me, I guess, "Do you think that Bruce Arians controlled most of the coordination and on the offensive coordinator, or do you think that it was put in Tom Brady's hands and he just went away with the game?"
I would say it's put in Tom Brady's hands and he went. There's actually a play when they're in the red zone, and I think the offensive coordinator, I don't really remember his name, but shout out to him. He wanted to switch the play, and you saw Tom running off, yelling at him. Yeah, he screamed at him. It was amazing. It's like, don't switch the play. I don't think he cussed or anything, but he just kept saying, don't switch the play. So I think personally that was all Tom Brady, but like, I don't want to discredit Tom Brady, but like every play, like it's either a run up the middle or they're just throwing a little screen or they're kind of just giving it to their playmakers in space. Like I don't want to say that's easy to do, but like it's not complicated in terms of you have to change the play all the time, kind of have to be on your heels. And I think a lot of the Mahomes stuff is they're trying pitch passes to Kelsey, like spinning, so much motion in the backfield. And like it's kind of funny, but like they fell. Like I think it was like 3 plays in a row, like Kelsey just fell. So I just think Tampa had a simpler game plan offensively, and that's why you could do 30 points. So I would give credit to Tom Brady.
Their game management was better.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of credit, do you think there was a case for Rob Gronkowski to get the MVP?
I thought he was going to win it.
No, I just think if Tampa wins, they're just going to give it to Brady. That's kind of like the lazy thing, just leave it to the quarterback. But Gronk played amazing. Like, I just think it's like, I know everyone talks about Brady the 20 years. People have to remember he's a quarterback. He doesn't get hit as much. I just think it's so much more impressive what Gronkowski's done in like the 10, 12 years because he gets hurt every year. Every offseason he has some type of surgery. And to take that year off and come back and play his best game in the Super Bowl, I thought pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it was really impressive. Now, the game finishes and they get to the trophy presentation. I'd like to hear your opinion on this because I have a strong opinion on this. Why do the owners get the trophy first?
Want me to explain it to you? What I saw on Twitter and using kind of my comments, I think it's like, you know, hockey when Ovi once, he was there for like 11 years.
Yeah.
In football, the average career is only 3 years. So there's so much turnaround and coaches get fired all the time. The only guy that's actually there for, I think, more than 5 years, extended period of time is the owner. And I also just think it's because in the NFL, owners have so much more money and power and control over the team. And it's not a guaranteed contract. I know, but like you kind of, I don't really want to say this, but like I think DeAndre Hopkins, a lot of players say the owner don't.
Okay. I will
Wait.
pause. Let me just pause.
Yeah, so I just think the whole owner thing in the NFL is kind of like an old mindset of like the owners are in charge. It's non-guaranteed guaranteed contract, excuse me. And I just kind of think the average career of an NFL player is.
Is this guy using a potato as a router?
Yeah, so I just think with the NFL owners and like the trophies and stuff, it's kind of this old mindset like that. We run the team because in the NFL, the average career span is only 3 years. And you saw Tom Brady, it's his first year. Bruce Arians has only been there for a few years. So I just kind of think it's like an old mindset of like them not wanting to like give it up. And you see in hockey when they won with Ovi and Sid, they've been there for like 11 years. No one in football really has that tenure. So I think it's kind of the rich billionaire owners just kind of want to be like, it's about me. So I kind of think it's a selfish old mindset.
I don't know. Like,
is that Tom Brady's 20th year?
No, but like with the organization I meant.
I don't know. I just think hockey does it right. Like it goes to the captain first, and then they hand it off
It's a
to
it's
like
an
the veteran
interesting
or something.
question. Do you guys have anything else to mention on the gameplay?
Not really. I didn't think it.
Yeah, I think we kind of did it. We could just talk about this in the halftime show and stuff.
What do you? Yeah. So what are your guys? I don't know if I mentioned it to Josh, but I think I guessed Starboy as the first song. I didn't think that I put anything on the last song. No money at all in general. But how was your guys actually prop bets overall before we get into the halftime show?
I put it was paying 20-1, so I put $20 on it on someone running onto the field.
Heads and tails.
I didn't do heads and tails, man. That's literally like a coin flip.
Anthem over and under.
I had over 2 minutes.
So the weekend comes out, has well, a lot of people are not even debating. I think that the people who disagree with how good of a performance is don't understand, I guess, or appreciate good art, music, and a performance. I think that it was a great entertainment part of the night and one of the best I've seen in recent history. What do you guys have to say?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was definitely missing the aspect of like the energy in the arena with the crowd, but I don't think we can pin that on him, right? Because you just can't have full capacity at the moment. But no, I thought he put on a good show. Like he was telling a story as well. And kind of that, I like how he optimized the full arena and he played his hits. Obviously, he was missing Crew Love and Wicked Games, but I don't think you can really, play those at a Super Bowl. But no, I thought it was pretty good. He sung well. That closing shot of him singing Blinding Lights and like all the fireworks going off, that was pretty cool. And he represented Canada well. I feel like Matt's going the other way with this one though.
No, I was gonna have this in my debate question, but I thought we would just talk about it, just the halftime show in general. But it was good. I just think like I don't want to say the Weeknd is like less known because like obviously we in Canada love him, but like when you kind of think about it on a big scale, like all of the songs he was singing were so new. Like 2 years, I didn't feel like pumped up or I don't know. I just kind of kept seeing on Twitter that like a lot of people didn't like it, and like I thought it was fine. Like I didn't lose sleep any of it, but like I'm kind of so invested.
I don't think anybody has lost sleep over a Super Bowl halftime performance.
Dude, no, Josh, you don't understand. Like I saw so many comments, people saying this was awful. You can't have R&B or that type of music. Last year was so much better.
He played pop. It wasn't R&B.
I don't know. It was fine. I honestly don't really care about the halftime show, and I think it was fine. But like I don't know. I just think the Weeknd's type of music isn't the type of stuff that are typically like in the Super Bowl.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. Like,
yeah,
I like it.
It didn't really stand out as bad.
No, I don't think stand out was bad. And just kind of expand. I think more people saw like last year it was J-Lo and Shakira. Like once I think it was Beyonce and Bruno Mars. Usually it's more than one person. Mm-hmm. So like they kind of play songs that like more everyone would know. Like we're from Canada. We obviously love and know the Weeknd. But I just think like even like last year Shakira spoke in Spanish. So I just kind of think in my opinion, you could have made it better so it applies to more people. And like we kind of said it last time, all the Weeknd songs are like about like drugs or cocaine or like girls or something. Like I don't know. I thought they could have gave it to someone else. I was surprised when I found out it was the Weeknd, to be honest.
Brandon, why do you look so confused?
I just disagree with all the slander here. I just don't. I would like to stand up for the Weeknd, but
you can't.
It's not like you're saying anything too disrespectful. I just think it was. I don't know. If you don't know the Weeknd and you're from around the world, like that's also your problem. He's a global artist.
That's your problem.
I don't know. And also, the one compliment I'll give him is like I got serious Michael Jackson vibes. Just like the hair and like the type of music and the dancing and stuff. I got Michael Jackson vibes. But I said that to my parents who were like alive during like Michael Jackson's prime. And they're like, oh, you can't say that to anybody above the age of 30. And I'm like, oh, I guess. But like, I don't know. I kind of think the Weeknd.
Well, what happens?
They just think it's wrong. It's like Michael Jackson is like they're like Michael.
But they execute you.
Yeah. So he didn't do too bad, but like I would have gave it to someone else.
Like who?
Right now, I think like Drake would have done better. I think Travis Scott like songs are more like I don't want to say inclusive, but like sicko mode.
Travis Scott did it last year.
There's a lot more. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. It was Adam Levine and Travis Scott.
Last year was Shakira.
Oh, that was
and
2 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, but like he has a lot more bangers since then. So I don't know. We don't have to talk about it too much, but like I would give it a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I think that's fair. What about you guys?
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 just to piss you off.
Right,
I'll give it 9.5.
Okay. Next topic.
Wayne Simmons is out 6 weeks with a broken wrist, and the Leafs play tonight. They've made a couple roster moves. Sandin draws in. But I don't know who's sitting out, and they signed Scott Sabrin to an NHL contract, 1 year, $700K. So a couple questions here. Let's get off the quick one first. Do you think the Leafs will miss Wayne Simmons in the lineup?
Yeah, of course. That's an obvious question.
Matt?
Yeah, I thought Brandon was going to elaborate on that, but yeah,
So
I just think the way Simmons playing, especially on that power play, like I think I was actually critical of like them like splitting up Nylander, Tavares, Marner, and Matthews early on, but like I think Simmons has done an excellent job in the net front presence. And like that one goal he scored on Saturday night, I kind of felt like it was starting to come for him. He was getting more confident. He was stick handling more. So it's just kind of, especially in a 56-game season, like 6 weeks is a long time. Like Thornton and Robertson have only been out for like 1-2, but I feel like I haven't seen them play hockey in forever.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually a big blow for the Leafs. And I think maybe them signing Scott Sabrin is kind of a way just to have that like element of toughness when we play Montreal and those other teams. But like, I think losing Wayne Simmons is actually kind of a big deal.
So that would be my next question. Obviously, we play Vancouver tonight. I don't think we need an element of toughness against Vancouver, just seeing the way they played the last 2 games. But we have Montreal on Wednesday. Do you see Scott Sabrin coming in for that game?
I hope so. I just think the first game against Montreal was probably the most exciting game so far. Maybe just because they're excited to play. But I just think both teams hate each other, and it's so obvious, so short, that just kind of us and them at the top of the division.
Yeah.
So I think we play them back-to-back, correct, Josh?
Yeah, no, well, we play them back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back, but like we play them Wednesday, Friday, Ottawa 3 times, then Montreal twice. So
yeah, so we're going to see a lot of them. So especially with Ottawa, like I just think we're going to need an element of toughness. And whether that comes from Scott Sabrin or like Jake Muzzin or just someone else being tough and sticking up for themselves, that's unexpected. We definitely need that element. And I just think Scott Sabrin, it's so cheap, and like the worst thing is he becomes a veteran for the Marlies or just rides the bench. So I don't really see a high risk. So I think it's pretty good. I want someone to ask Matthews what their conversation was when they first met.
Yeah, I kind of want to know that too.
Yeah.
He probably just looked at the back of his shirt that day and asked him, who is he?
Oh, I know you, or something like that. I guess that leads me to my next point, and I know where Matt falls on this. I can't remember if I asked you or not, Brandon, but starting goalie tonight. Freddie's got a long stretch coming up. Jack Campbell's nowhere close to returning. Would you start Michael Hutchinson tonight? Give Freddie a night off and get ready for...
You're going to say, do you start Michael Jackson? I'm like, well...
No. Do you start Michael Hutchinson and give Freddie the game off so he can get ready for a back-to-back against Montreal? Or do you just ride Freddie?
I don't think Freddie has to do it back-to-back. Why would he have to do it back-to-back already?
Well, you know what I mean. Like he would play against Montreal Wednesday, Saturday.
Oh. Yeah, sure. I'd say it's early in the season. Why not? I mean, it would be his first game of the year?
It would be Hutch's first game of the year, yeah. And I just think, like, you've already got 4 points from Vancouver. They haven't played well. You've put up at least 5 goals the last 2 times you played them. You know, if he can stop, I don't know, 90% of the shots that come towards him, like that's all you probably need to ask from him tonight, right? Like it might be an easy out to just start him tonight, rely on your offense. You know, your defense has been okay at suppressing shots. Vancouver, it doesn't really pressure you to, battle deep in your zone. I think their offensive time compared to ozone time wasn't very high. Like they're not in your zone that often. So, maybe throw Hutch a bone here, get him feeling good, get him in the net just in case you do need him, and kind of a soft opponent against Vancouver.
Yeah, I guess I'll take it away now. Josh, I love where you're coming from. I just kind of think like you saw Jack Campbell get hurt, and if we ride Freddie so much, especially in a season kind of like this where you're playing the same teams, like you said, we already stole 4 points from them. Like even if we lose this game, like I don't want to say we don't care, but like we have to focus on Montreal. Yeah. And I just think, what if Freddie gets hurt? Like Hutchinson's gonna have to play. So I just think, like it or not, he's your third goalie, and something might happen where he has to play hockey. Right. So I think I'd rather give him an Ottawa or Vancouver in like some warm-up games than his first game is the second game of the playoffs. Like, I don't know when the last time he played a game was. I assume it was.
It was in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he played okay. Like, he played good enough to win and gave them a chance. So I just think we should throw him in. I'd also give him a game against Ottawa because you said we're playing them a lot. Yep. So yeah, I'll definitely kind of split duties. And like, the one thing I don't want to ride Freddie this early is just like, we play the same teams all the time. I kind of feel like maybe it's the Chuck incident, maybe it's just a lot of other stuff. But I feel like teams are going for goalies now. Like, you play them all the time. You're going to know how to shoot on them, or even just like bang bodies in front of the net, because kind of starting to get to that playoff momentum. I definitely would kind of protect Freddie. I wouldn't give him this game. But also, I hope Sheldon Keefe and Freddie, I don't really know the relationship, but I hope they have the relationship. Like, do you think you could start this game? He actually says no. Like, not like taking it against him. I know he's a competitive guy, but I kind of think we have to see the bigger picture, especially since it's a contract year. And like it or not, Freddie can be average all the way to the playoffs. Like, his next paycheck and where this Leaf team goes rides in the playoffs. And I think, I don't want to say we're guaranteed to be there, but I think our chances are pretty good. So I definitely would prepare that way.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I just pulled up their schedule. They got Ottawa a lot in the next month or so. And I think they have Vancouver a couple more times in the next month and a half. So it's like, if you don't start Hutch tonight, I think he does see 1 or 2 games against Ottawa.
Yeah.
And I think you got to pick your opponent here, because you're not playing him against Montreal.
No.
But, I would, if I was Keefe, I'd be seriously considering starting him tonight. And I think it's a conversation you have to have with Freddie, where you say, hey, look, you're playing great, but you got 2 big games coming up against Montreal. So you're taking the night off. It would just be, I think it would be for the benefit of the team. Like, you're bringing in Sandin. I don't know who would be coming out. Probably Lettinen.
Yeah, I assume so, because I know Durant's kind of day to day right now. Yeah, but one thing I want to give Keefe that I was kind of critical in the offseason is, like, the Leafs have so many extra players, whether it's Patan, Boyd, Joey Anderson, Durant, Lettinen, Sandin. We haven't really used them in past years, but I think now is the one year we're using everybody. You saw his quotes about the fourth line, how important he thinks it is. So I think the Leafs, out of all the Canadian teams, maybe Montreal is better, but we've used our depth amazing this year, and I think it's going to pay off in the postseason.
Right. Austin Matthews. He's got 4 goals in his last 2 games. I think he's on a 7-game scoring streak when he's played, because obviously he sat that game against Edmonton. Is this guy going to hit 50 goals this year? Because he is just lighting the league up, and it's only going to get easier for him, because he's got Vancouver again tonight, and then he's got Ottawa. He's got Montreal as well. He always lights Carey Price up. Like, what goal type are we looking at for this guy this year?
Brandon, you can go.
I'll go? Yeah. So, what is it? 56 games you said this year?
Yeah, 56 games, yeah.
How many games have they already played?
They're 9, 2, and 1, so they've played 13.
10 goals, 13 games.
They've played 12. They've played 12, not 13.
Yeah.
So would he have to increase his pace at right now to get that?
He has 10 goals in 11 games because Austin Matthews missed a game.
Yeah.
10 goals in 11 games. I just looked at that.
That's almost a goal per game. So
yeah.
Wow. So you do have to pretty much go a goal per game. What do you guys think? Let me have your opinions. A goal per game in the NHL?
Yeah, I'll go first. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, goal a game." That's crazy in the NHL, but like you have to
look at the division.
Yeah, you have to look at our division. Like every game, I feel like it's 6-5, 7-1. Like it's nuts. And like when you look at all the goalies, like I know Hellebuck and Price are good, but like what other team has a goalie that they're really confident? Like Markstrom, yes, but
Matt Murray.
Matt Murray's goal against average is like 4.9 or something. He's not. Yeah, but anyways, I think like maybe he won't keep it up this much, but I think he could score 30, 40. And that's kind of look at Austin Matthews' career, and the only award he's won was the Rookie of the Year. So I think it's about time that he gets a Rocket or an Austin MVP, because like I just kind of compare him against McDavid or like Eichel, or just like maybe not Eichel because we hate Eichel on this show, but like just other guys in the league. And I just think it's about time he gets some hardware, because like I think I look at Austin Matthews play and just all the hockey we've watched. I think it's fair to say that this kid's different,
Yeah.
especially like wearing a Leafs uniform. And I kind of think like you kind of saw Tom Brady's mindset of Stanley Cups, MVPs, All-Star game, gold medals, all that type of stuff. And I just think it's time Austin Matthews puts some trophies in his trophy case.
Brandon, you want to say what we're both thinking?
Tom Brady has a Stanley Cup.
No, I said Tom Brady. I said Tom Brady's mindset, and I paused. Everyone wants to win the Stanley Cup. It doesn't matter. Okay, go. It sounds bad.
I just think Matthews is a different beast this year, right? Like I was watching it, especially the Saturday night game against Vancouver, the 5-1 win. Like I'm watching him skate around the ice, and most of the other Leafs too, and they just look like they were licking their lips. They're like, if we get this puck, like Vancouver's not getting it back for a while, so let's apply the pressure and just score. Like they were feeding on Vancouver in that game.
So back to the answer, I'm just trying to reroute. I think 40 is impressive enough. I don't know if 50 is like holy shit, especially if COVID comes. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about how it hasn't crept into Canada. However, that's not the point, but it can always potentially occur in injuries. But 40 is super impressive when you look back at 56 games. So I'd be anything over 40 is extravagant. 40 is my marker, I guess.
Yeah, I said I have a bet going with a buddy about his goal total. He took 36 and I took 42. So I'm feeling pretty good about my pick right now. So I think 42 is definitely doable the pace he's at. But if he hits 50, man, like it's looking like he will right now. So we'll see there. All right. We had a weird situation in the NBA. And Brandon, you might know more about this because were you watching the game or you just kind of followed along? Yeah. So you want to take it away and tell us about this whole
Matt, do you know much?
Thing? Yeah, I watched the game.
Yeah. So I was actually there's a lot of news about it, but the importance of it was that I was actually on a conversation with Josh while I was watching the game. I think it was an afternoon game or an earlier game, or I'm not too sure actually, but regardless, I don't know. We don't know who the individual is. If you were to take it back before the game started, Kevin Durant was, I guess, associating with someone outside of his team who was potentially in contact with COVID or had COVID. So they tested apparently KD 3 times in one day or 3 times over 2 days, and he was negative all 3 times. And then he was initially not ruled or not allowed to play in the Raptors games, and then first halfway through the first quarter they subbed him in, and it was kind of crazy. He played, he did pretty well, and then halfway through the third quarter or something like that, or maybe even sooner, the health officials on the Brooklyn Nets told him he had to step out. And so now he's been had to lock in quarantine for a week. He can join the team this Friday apparently, but the rest of the team is safe, which is crazy. A lot of the players, even James Harden, said that the game shouldn't even have been played. What's important to note is how the interaction. I'll pass it to Matt soon, but the interaction that KD took to Twitter with. Matt, do you want to go on that?
Yeah, KD's kind of known to be a bitch on Twitter. Like he always complains. He has a bunch of burner accounts and stuff. So like I was watching the game, and like something I kind of picked up with this NBA season is like players take breaks all the time. Like you watch a game, someone's hurt, COVID protocol. Kyrie doesn't play because he doesn't want to. Like there's so many storylines that when Kevin Durant kind of checked out, I was kind of like, oh god damn, because like obviously we're cheering for the Raptors and I want to win. But like after the game, your emotions are down. You're kind of retract. I think most of it was just because COVID tracing and stuff. And like, it's a tough situation. I kind of agree with James Harden. Like, if you're going to pull one of the best players from the game, it probably shouldn't be played just in terms of like sponsorship and like it's a waste. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say, Josh? Like, I just kind of don't think.
Well, no, I don't think the game should have been canceled because Kevin Durant can't play. The game should have been canceled because Kevin Durant had COVID, right? Or supposedly had COVID. What I don't understand is.
Let me take this.
Hang on, I'm on a roll here. Like, what I don't understand is why was he allowed back in the game in the first place if they weren't 100% sure?
Right. Dude, so I guess.
And also, I don't know how this works, but in the NHL, you have to submit your game lineup, and then anyone added after a certain time. You can't add players to your roster. So would he have not been on like the COVID list or something? And how can you activate a player halfway through a game? Like, was he sitting on the bench?
Yeah, dude, they sit on the bench all the time.
So but he was on the protocol list. So why was he on where was he?
Okay, so apparently he had 3 negative tests within 24 hours or even 72. I'm not even too sure. So those tests might have been prior to the game as well as the day of. But
let me add some context. I think we're telling the story wrong. I just Googled it and it's on ESPN. Kevin Durant had close contact with Nets employee who contracted the virus. So they have contact tracing. I actually know this now. They wear like a pin all time, Josh.
Yeah.
So like when someone gets COVID, they see whose pin was closest to him. Like they track it like digitally. And Kevin Durant was the player that they said was too close to him. And now he has to quarantine for 7 days. So they got that information in the middle of the game.
So why was he scratched in the first place?
I have no idea about that. Like, I think it was because it was inconclusive, and I don't know if they checked him in when they're not supposed to. A lot of details are kind of coming out slowly. Like the article I just saw. Yeah, the article I just saw, it's not very too specific, but all we need to know is it looks bad because in the NBA, you have the best player leaving in a big game.
Right. And then this is where I kind of wanted you to go with it, but we'll go to it now. Kevin Durant takes to Twitter, and the first thing he says in all caps is "free me." And then he goes into a tweet about, yo, NBA, the fans know what you're doing. You're not fooling anyone. And then he liked a couple of tweets that people made of him in a cage. Kind of
like Kevin Durant went to the University of Texas, so I don't really understand. He probably doesn't really know how COVID works by like his education. So like, I don't mean to take.
Whoa! Why are you taking runs at University of Texas?
Because they're known for letting people in just to play sports, and I feel like this is a situation. Because no offense, Kevin Durant, we're in a global pandemic. They have protocols that they put in place and the NBA players agreed to. And this was just one where they got information too late and they thought the best decision, they were wrong, was to take him out. But I think he just kind of needs to understand this has happened throughout the league. And they're not targeting you because you're Kevin Durant and they don't want to see Brooklyn play. Like if the NBA had it their way, they would rig the finals. So it'd be Brooklyn against the Lakers. So like, I don't really understand why he thinks everyone's against him. So, like, I have no idea what all this Brooklyn Nets is. Like, you see James Harden and Kyrie put on their story, scary hours because they win, even though I think they're 500 with all three of them in the lineup because they lost to Cleveland. So, I just think all of this in Kevin Durant's mind is coming from the NBA is not taking this seriously or they're just trying to throw players under the bus. In reality, it's a global pandemic, and you're going to have some unfair judgments made in spite. So I think he should just take the 7-day quarantine. I think everyone in Brooklyn has to be more specific. Not more specific, more cautious. Because you look at Kyrie, he left, and then he was, I don't know if he was exposed to the virus, but he's seen partying. James Harden's been seen partying. So this isn't the first time that the Brooklyn Nets organization has been touchy with the COVID protocols.
So the way, like, it's so weird how Kevin Durant went about this because he said that the NBA, you're fooling no one. Well, I was like, well, what are they doing? So am I being fooled or are they just doing nothing? Because like his post implied that, you know, the commissioner in the front office had money on the game and they're like, oh, we got to pull KD so we can cash in. Like, is that what he's trying to say? Or is he,
I think what he's trying to say is they're making like everything up as they go and they're being, it's just too
so
much.
Is everybody else.
Yeah, they are. I know. But I just think he thinks, oh, this COVID protocol is just too much. You take me out, even though I've already played 20 minutes and I've already guarded someone. I've touched them. What's the point now? And I agree with him in that perspective. But what he has to understand, he's an employee of $1 billion team that's in a multi-billion-dollar organization league. So no offense, I don't really think they give a fuck about how you feel.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it was a very strange situation. Speaking of strange situations, I just remembered this. Did you see the Columbus Blue Jackets like situation last night? I know we're jumping back to hockey here, but that whole there was a goal, but then there was a penalty, so they took the penalty away but kept the goal.
Yeah.
What happened there? I could not follow along.
Okay, so like who are they playing again? It doesn't matter.
Carolina Hurricanes, I believe.
Yeah, so like no offense to Columbus, but people don't really watch their games. So like
no.
I don't think a lot of people know what happened. But basically what I got, like it was offside, And maybe they didn't challenge it, or I don't know. I just know that it was offside and the goal counted. And I saw Tortorella and Lane. Like Tortorella said, I'm not talking about it because Torts, he gets hyped up and yells at the media. Lane said it was a joke. So basically, a goal that was offside counted. That's what I just got from Twitter.
But then what happened? They took a penalty away.
Dude, I honestly don't understand. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know what happened.
I have no idea.
All right, I'll look into that because that was a really confusing situation.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But basically, now that you said they got a penalty and stuff, I think probably when you challenge and the challenge comes up like bad, you get a 2-minute penalty for like wasting time to delay a game.
Yeah.
Goal was probably offside. The linesman and refs reviewed it, said it wasn't offside, even though it was obviously offside. And then Columbus got a 2-minute penalty. I think that might be.
They reviewed it at intermission, though, because they went to their locker room halfway through the intermission and told them what was going on. Like, that's really weird.
Yeah, I have no idea. We could just skip this because we all don't really know what happened.
I don't think anybody knows what happened. Very, very strange set of rules. All right, I think we're done with the sports talk or the sports topics. Matt, you got some Matt's debates for us?
Yes, it's time for Matt's debates. Okay, ready? Brandon, you good? You look confused.
No, I'm just looking up some of Katie's recent likes.
Yeah, Katie's weird. Okay, so I have 3 debate questions. 2 of them are good questions. The other one's just kind of a nice one to end the show with. The first one, I read an ESPN article, and it's kind of been coming up that the NHL draft for this year will be moved back a year. So you have the 2021 draft and the 22 draft, 2 drafts on separate days. So basically, you give this draft class another year because of COVID to see what they can do.
Yeah.
But it's also a draft year for the other class. So basically, you have 2 draft years in one. So what do you guys think about that? And should that be a good idea? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
My question is, how the hell does that work? Is it one mega draft class or?
No, it's 2 separate draft class.
Okay, so then
separate days.
My question is, if you have the first overall pick, do you have 2 first overall picks?
So the team that comes last this year and wins the lottery will have that first overall pick after next season. And the same team that in the second season finishes last will have the first overall pick in the other draft. So it's literally the same thing, but you're just having that draft the next day. What do you think about that, and should that happen? They're considering it, apparently.
I think it could work, but I think it's also really stupid, but it's a creative solution to a problem that they have right now.
Because I just kind of think like some of these kids haven't played in the OHL.
Yeah.
And how you can evaluate how they played. So I think scouts would love this. I think for hockey it would be amazing because you have 2 first overall picks, one on a Friday and one on a Saturday. That's crazy. And literally you could trade 2 first round picks in back-to-back drafts on 2 days. Yeah. So it kind of doesn't have the same impact on your franchise. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I know it's kind of hard to explain, but basically the question is, should this happen? So Josh, everything should it happen, yes or no?
Yeah, I think it should. I mean, I don't think it's not the best solution, but I think it's the only solution they really have, right? Because these kids aren't playing anywhere. And how can you evaluate? Like, you're just going to evaluate off the World Juniors? Exactly. Half those kids have been drafted anyway. So, it's a creative solution. Another one I saw was that you do a European-only draft because they're playing over in Europe, but I don't think they would do that. They want that Canadian and American talent in the league. Just for to promote to the market. But no, if that's what they have to do, that's what they have to do. And like from an entertainment factor, that would be amazing.
I think this is the way to go. I think it's really entertaining. And I kind of was thinking it's a little too gimmicky, but then I'm like, no, it's not, because you have 2 first overall picks going against each other. And think about how hard it's going to be to like determine the value of 15th overall in this draft and the next day 15th overall in the next draft. So you're going to see some crazy trades. So, like, realistically, a team could trade 2 first-round picks and 2 seconds, and that team would pick all 4 of those picks in 2 days. Like, I just think that's crazy.
So, like, you know how sometimes kids are skipped over in the draft and then they're taken in next year's draft?
Yeah. I think that would happen. First draft, you would be eligible for, I have no idea, maybe. Like, if you go undrafted in the Friday draft, will you get drafted in the Saturday one? You could.
Exactly. If you're eligible for both, because the older kids will be eligible for both.
Yeah. So Brandon, what do you think?
How wouldn't every age be eligible for both?
So
the
it,
idea
so
still confuses me.
No, if you're not eligible for the draft that should be happening after this season, you won't be eligible for the first day draft.
yeah.
So why would you get you're mentioning that you would get
All the undrafted
player,
players.
you would get like, how would you be allowed to draft players the next day that you
Because
skipped on the day before? I don't think that makes sense.
Because it's next year's draft. So say for example, it was a 2012 and a 2013 draft, and they did the 2012 draft on a Thursday and the 2014 draft on the Friday. Everyone in the 2012 draft is eligible for the 2013 draft because you can carry over if you go undrafted.
So what does this mean for the prospects pool? Like it just gets absolutely doubled.
That's the point. That's how cool I think it was. Because like,
that's a really
if
good.
I'm a rebuilding team like Detroit, I could have 2 first overall picks. That is so cool in my opinion.
I really like this idea now. The more I talk about it, I really like it.
Yeah. So Brandon, are you a no-go then? Because you don't like how it would kind of be formed and like.
What's the debate? If I would like the idea, yeah, I think Josh mentioned it has to happen. They're in a situation where they need to do something. Why not do this? I mean, what's the difference between a day or a week or a month, really, right?
Yeah, and also just kind of add something. So, like, say you finished last this year, you probably want to finish last the next year because you have 2 first overall picks coming in at the same time. But I just think fans might not like it because I think if they said right now we're gonna do this, I think teams like Detroit, Los Angeles, some of the bad teams, you should tank because your guys are coming in and your franchise will change in 2 days dramatically. So I think you're going to see a lot more tanking if this happens.
Yeah, I think part of
a lot more tanking is like general statement, right? Like this is only happening hopefully one time.
Yeah, I think the NHL would go about it differently. Where I think the lottery ball odds would be affected for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we'll see what they do with that. I guess they got to make that decision pretty soon.
Okay, so for match debates, just say yes or no. So I'm for yes. Josh, are you yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brandon? Okay, so we all said yeah. Okay, so that's the first question. Okay, second question. You kind of see. Okay, let me just paint a picture. So you have Jack Eichel in Buffalo. They've been bad forever. You have Oliver Ekman-Larsson asking for a trade in the offseason, but he only picked 2 teams. He's still in Arizona, and Arizona is in the bottom of the standings. You have Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, who might still be elite players, who knows, rotting in LA. So basically what I'm trying to say is you see a lot of NBA and NFL players on bad teams just ask for trades all the time. So do you think hockey culture needs to kind of switch? And do you think Patrick Kane and all these teams on bad teams should be asking for trades a lot more often?
It's already happening with Patrick Laine, Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Those are disgruntled people. What I'm trying to say is, do you think maybe aging stars who are on bad teams, but they've just been there for so long, should ask for trades? Another example is Pittsburgh. They're 22nd in the league, and if they're still bad for the next 2 years, should Crosby and Malkin ask for a trade? Because if this was the NBA or NFL or even baseball, they would be gone. So I think, do you think hockey needs to say, I thank you for what you did the last 10 years. Buy Taves, buy Kane, you're going to get traded. So do you think hockey needs to go more in that fashion?
I think they do, but I don't think the players ever will because there's such like a loyalty factor in hockey. Like players like to stay where they are for some reason. They don't seem to be ring chasers as much. It's really strange, right? Like nobody's like it's strange, right? Like after 7 years in Washington, I'm kind of surprised Ovechkin didn't say, okay, bye. Like this isn't working here. He stuck with it. He got his cup, but who knows if he'd have been traded to, I don't know, somewhere else, he might have won a cup earlier, maybe more of them. But I mean, they probably should and we do see players do it. Like Joe Thornton obviously came here from San Jose because he wants to win a cup. Wayne Simmons has jumped a couple teams because he wants to win a cup. And like,
but those players are kind of bad now, Josh. I'm talking about like a prime Kane or Taves. So like the question is, should aging NHL stars ask for trades more often like other sports?
Yes.
I just
I don't know if it's something that they can control. I don't know if it's like
a lot of them have no trade clauses too.
Yeah.
No moves, but they could pick. That's what I'm trying to say. So if I'm Patrick Kane, why not say, oh, I have a no move in Chicago. We're not doing anything. You guys publicly stated we're going from a rebuild. I'm out of here and I want to join blah, blah, blah team.
Chicago might not want to.
Yeah, but like I think Patrick Kane has all the leverage in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's in the fate of the player's hands. Obviously, the question doesn't really dictate what would happen. I don't know if the NHL players simply can't speak out as much as like other sports can. So
Yeah, it's just in the culture of it, right? Like nobody does it.
Should they?
They should, but they
but
normally wait till
yeah,
free
I think they
agency.
should. It would be interesting to see that type of movement.
Yeah, but they wait till free agency, right? Like Lundqvist just did that, but he didn't ask for trade. He just left in free agency. So I don't know. I mean, watching old guys move team to team isn't really why we watch hockey, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
So I have two more questions, and this one is kind of funny because I saw on Twitter a Philadelphia Flyers fans going at an Islanders fans that I think they played. And then right now, Philadelphia is fourth in the league. They're 8-3-2, and the New York Islanders are 24th, and they're 4-4-2. So basically, what fan base has the right to talk more shit? And if you were Philadelphia and the Islanders, what direction would you be going on?
The Flyers, they're higher in the league.
Yeah, what's the
Stupid
argument?
question.
You think their fans should be able to talk more shit because the Islanders went to a conference final?
The Islanders have done nothing in the last 25 years.
They beat them last year, Josh. So I think if you're a Philly fan, why are you talking shit?
Because the Islanders are 24th.
Yeah, I know, but like it's so early. So this is the debate time. I think Philadelphia fans should not be talking shit to anybody.
What about Ottawa Senators fans talking shit to Toronto Maple Leafs fans because they had Erik Karlsson and went to a conference final, almost a Stanley Cup 4 years ago?
Yeah, that's the exact same thing. Like
no, but my point is, it's
what else have the
year.
Ottawa Senators?
Literally last year. It's not 4 years ago. This is so recent. Both teams didn't change anything. So I think right now, if you're a Philly fan, you shouldn't be talking shit to the Islanders.
I do. Go ahead. I hate the Islanders.
Yeah, I think that they can go talk ahead all they want. I don't really know if anyone has a right or not a right. As of right now, the Flyers are one of the best teams in the league.
And like, where's the line drawn about when you can talk shit, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Do we now have to? Can the Flyers only talk shit when they make a conference final? That doesn't make sense.
No, you can only talk shit when you beat the team that you're talking shit to.
Did they beat them?
No.
Oh. Well, no, in the regular season, did they beat them?
Oh, the game I'm talking about, they give me a second.
I'm assuming they beat them. Flyers are a powerhouse this year.
Yeah, the Flyers are a powerhouse. But just going back on the Islanders and our boy Lou, do you think that team's done because they had a rough start? What do you guys think?
When you re-sign Matt Martin and Leo Komarov, your team is done.
So they've played twice. They played on a back-to-back, and the Islanders lost both games 3-2 and 4-3. So close games.
Yeah. So Islanders fans, take your like John Tavares hate blankets and go sit in the corner over there with the Detroit Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators of irrelevant franchises.
Brandon, you have anything to say?
Say hi to the Wild on the way.
Brandon?
I agree with Josh. I mean, I kind of forget the question now. We just kind of obliterated it, unfortunately.
Okay, so this is the last question, then we can end the show and you guys can say whatever you want.
And then we're done Matt debating.
I saw this on Twitter and I thought it was funny and I wanted to ask you guys.
Matt's debating.
What's the most overrated Super Bowl food?
Oh boy.
Pizza.
Most overrated Super Bowl food?
Let me give you some options of what people said. People said nachos, and that's what Brandon had. Someone said nachos. Someone said bad chicken wings, so I just assumed the bad ones. Someone said drumstick chicken wings, which are the chicken wings that have the more meat on them.
Okay.
Someone said mushroom pizza. Someone said chips, which I think that's kind of broad, chips. And someone said, I don't know why, but the Super Bowl party I always go to has hot dogs. So I don't really think that's a Super Bowl food. But, like, what do you guys think with all that?
I used to not be a fan of chicken wings.
Yeah.
And then kind of one year I tried, like, these really good wings, and they grew on me. So I love wings now. Overrated Super Bowl food? Like, overrated. Like, yeah, maybe pizza. Like, I don't – like, you can have pizza whenever. I mean, you can have wings whenever.
I think pizza.
Right? Like,
I'm going to go with pizza.
I'm going to say nachos, too, though, because, nachos aren't that good.
Brandon, you had nachos. Debate Josh real quick. Page him.
Josh, have you ever had nachos in the last 6 months?
I've had nachos in the last 6 months, but every nacho seems to be the same. Like you just get these shitty ass tortilla chips, dump some processed.
Isn't a chicken wing the same thing?
No, you can get
every
different
time?
types of chicken wings, man. You get like really hot, spicy, mild, salt and vinegar,
You
salt
can
and
get
pepper.
chicken, beef, fish,
Yeah, but it's still
tacos.
a fucking
I
chip,
mean, nachos.
right?
No, but
Like
the thing on top of the chip is different, Josh.
I just think nachos are like
You could
they're a
put
nice
sour cream or
appetizer, but
salsa.
I'm not like when I'm going to my Super Bowl party, I'm not saying, man, I'm really excited about these nachos.
I'm not saying I'm really excited about this pizza. It's fucking bread and cheese and sauce.
I'm with you on that. I don't think pizza's very good for a
No,
Super Bowl
Josh's
party either.
stance is chicken wings. That's his stance that you have
Yeah.
to take down.
Yeah, chicken wings are the
Chicken
best.
wings is where to go.
Okay, all right, I guess we're
But
on the same
pizza's the
team.
most overrated.
I'm gonna say nachos. More
Yeah, I'll go with
overrated.
pizza. What about like ice cream and that type of stuff?
It's not a food. That's a dessert.
Who the fuck eats ice cream unless it's the fucking Super Bowl
What
Sunday
about
dessert?
Fries.
Usually it's fucking Super
well,
Bowl cake.
But like fries aren't the main event.
No, but like Super Bowl food, none of it's like mainly pizza.
Fries are the main event the NHL needs.
I think of chicken wings and like that type of stuff as Super Bowl food. Chicken wings and fries and shit.
I don't know.
Super Bowl chicken wings?
Yeah.
You put them in a big bowl.
Okay, I think we should end this here, Josh.
No, hang on, but because like I don't know, when you think of the Super Bowl, you think of like beer, chicken wings, maybe a pizza. Not like, you don't really think of the fries.
You didn't say nachos.
No, you do think of nachos. I just think they're overrated. Whoever said hot dogs, man, that guy needs to reevaluate his.
Dude, I don't know. I just saw it on Twitter. The guy said, dude, maybe because like in the States, like the game started at 6:30, like our time, but in like Los Angeles, it probably started at 3:30, so they probably turned into like more of a barbecue.
I don't give a fuck. If I roll up to a Super Bowl party, the guy's like, yeah, the plate of hot dogs will be out in a minute. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to a different party.
No, but I'm saying it's probably like a barbecue swimming /
I don't care. You're allowed to serve burgers, okay? But hot dogs.
No, but if you make burgers, you're probably gonna make hot dogs.
No, but like the burgers you serve is the little sliders, so you can make like 28 of them. Who's taking time out of their day? Okay, but here's the thing. Those hot dogs, all you do is boil some hot water and drop them in there. Like, what's going on?
On the fucking barbecue, bro. It's just
nobody has time to do that at a Super Bowl party.
Dude, yes, they do.
No.
Dude, the pregame show for the Super Bowl was like 4 hours. Like Super Bowl parties are long.
There for 4 hours before the goddamn Super Bowl.
Dude, bet. I guarantee you people in the States do.
How many things do you have to say about the Super Bowl? Like, Jesus Christ. I thought half an hour for a hockey pregame was a long time.
Yeah, dude, it was long, but I think there's like performances and like sponsorships and that type of stuff.
Matt, did you watch the Miley Cyrus TikTok tailgate?
I saw Miley Cyrus before that too. I didn't see the TikTok thing, but I saw her before performance.
What?
You hooked up with Miley Cyrus?
I said I saw her perform her music.
All right.
I don't know.
What's your favorite Miley Cyrus song?
Probably We Can't Stop.
Okay, it's the wrong answer, but all right.
What's your answer?
Party in the USA.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, Josh, end it.
Are we done?
Yeah, say a little conclusion. We'll be back Thursday.
Okay, you heard it from Matt first.